This is the 90-90 with the Hemibridge. What we're gonna do to set up is, as the name suggests, get with our feet on the wall, a 90-degree bend at both our knees and our hips. And our chin is pointed directly up at the ceiling. So our head is nice and relaxed and in a good position. To initiate this, we wanna make sure we have the right foot contact. So on the side that we're gonna be working, we want to feel the inner heel and the first metatarsal head. So we're gonna be using Jacob's left side as the example here. That's gonna be the side on the wall, so that's what he wants to feel. And that doesn't mean he loses the outside of his foot. That just means that's where his bias is. That's what he's focusing on, particularly that inner heel. Okay, now, he's going to drag down first with both heels down on that wall. Have the intention to drag down, which is going to lift your tailbone off of the floor. And your feet aren't actually going to move on the wall. It's the intention to drag down that's going to engage your hamstrings and get your tailbone off, but the low back stays flat. Now, because we're gonna be working Jacob's left side here, we're gonna take his right leg off of the wall and extend it to the extent that is comfortable for us as an individual. If you can't get all the way there, it's not the end of the world, but just have the intention to straighten it out and be comfortable while you do it. Now, he should feel more left hamstring as he does that, focusing on the inner heel and that first metatarsal head without losing the outside foot. He is going to maintain that dragging down sensation as he inhales through his nose, and he's going to tap that wall very gently with his right heel. Exhale and return back to the starting position right there. Inhale, go to the wall. Exhale back, super controlled, very slow and relaxed and methodical. Now, some of us will have a hard time finding our hamstrings without some support. So if that's the case, set up yourself a little shelf. Do whatever you need to make sure that you still have a 90-degree bend at both your knees and your hips, and you feel your whole foot flat on the wall on both sides. Now, Jacob will have a little bit of leverage to drag down and then extend that right leg and do the same exact thing. That'll be much easier for a lot of people. The most common mistake here is people are going to go way too aggressively back with their right leg. So whatever leg is passive, so they're gonna bring it back way too far, and then they're gonna go forward. It's gonna turn into this weird hip flexion exercise. So make sure that you're only going back so far that this thigh is in line with the thigh that is on the wall. The other thing to look out for here is don't crunch your abs really hard. We don't want that to happen. The tailbone's gonna be off of the floor and the low back will remain flat, so you are in a little bit of a posterior tilt, but not because you're crunching your abs. Keep your abs nice and relaxed, and again, breathe through it like you know how, nice and slow and controlled. Get that full exhale, but just make sure you're not actively squeezing your abs. If you're feeling like you're struggling to keep your head and neck relaxed, you can support your neck with a little towel roll, and it should be just thick enough to feel like your head is being supported and your chin is passively pointing directly up at the ceiling. It should never be so thick that it's shoving your head back or so thin that your chin is falling forward. It should just allow you to stay nice and relaxed there. Finally, as a regression to this, if you're struggling with that variation, you could just first drag down, find your hamstrings on both sides, and then simply just take your right heel or whatever passive side and put the heel on the wall like that. Now, that right leg or the passive leg won't be doing anything. The left hamstring will be working more, and all you gotta do is sit here and breathe.